everyone, welcome to week 10 of dissecting the CT2V rulebook. Okay, I am going to start on page 18. Okay, so page 18, we're going to be talking about, what's my footstool over here? Disqualifications, how to become a judge, opportunity classes, and then current opportunity classes, and then different abilities. Okay, so tonight's going to be wonderful topics. Okay, disqualifications. No equine will be disqualified except for illegal equipment, obvious lameness, inhumane treatment, or misconduct from the rider. Okay, a disqualification will result in 0 points for that round of competition. CT2V is a positive environment and reward for what we see right instead of punishing when things go wrong. Okay, so let's talk about the illegal equipment. That's probably going to be a gag bit is the one that I have to address the most, or tie downs if you're in Western tack. If you're in English tack, I started talking about a cavesson. Sorry, no tie downs. A cavesson can be used if you're writing in English because that's part of traditional English equipment. Okay, so it's typically that dang gag bit. Can't have a mechanical hackamore. But the only thing we've ever really had issues with was everybody wants to call them I think it's a working cow horse bit, and they're like, it's just a baby gag. Well, it's still a gag bit, okay? So that's the biggest problem that we see. And then the obvious lameness. You know what? If your horse just has a smidget, we get that some horses get hurt whenever they're actually here, and then we know about if they're still serviceable, but if that head is dropping, and they're like, ow, 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 like, no. So, no obvious lameness. Inhumane treatment, that right there is for the people that don't know that they're at a horse competition and they're beating the crap out of their animal. We're not down with any of that, okay? So, and then misconduct of the rider, boy, that is the most vague term in the world because we needed it to be for the weird stuff that happens, okay? Misconduct from a rider would be going and yelling at somebody else because I don't know, it would just be some craziness. I could see one rider yelling at another rider if they're beating their horse. That's okay. Like, you go ahead. You ain't gonna get in trouble for that. But I don't know. That one is left vague for the freaking weird stuff that happens. Okay, because weird stuff happens. Okay. You know what? I have only like a disqualification. We've had a few horses that got lame, right? And then one person, and I try to watch out for those dang bits. I try to watch, but one person had to be disqualified over a bit, and it was just in like the ranch horsemanship. We're not trying to like throw the book at people, right? Because a lot of times, a lot of our CT2V competitors, this might be the first horse competition they've ever done. A lot of times people don't know what a mechanical hackamore is. They don't know what a gag bit is. They don't, they just don't know, and we're trying to help them. So I have my judges and myself, we're trying to help alleviate some things before they happen, okay? So, and that kind of opens us up for, you help this person. Well, it's up to you to know the rule book and to know your stuff, and some things we just don't catch, but we're trying to help as many people, and we're trying to look out for bits and stuff. So, anyways, how to become a judge. I do need judges, okay? By the way, we have the head judge and we have a supporting judge. My head judges get paid. I pay my head judge $100 a day, plus I give them half of the clinics that we do on Friday, okay? So if they help me out with that clinic, then I'll give them half. My supporting judges, I actually don't pay them. Those supporting judges just help out with trail only. I try to find people that need social media boosting, right? So I try to find people that maybe they're a massage therapist, or maybe they are a chiropractor for equine, or maybe it's a farrier. Like, I try to find those things that I can just support them on social media by telling people about what they do, or a horse trainer. But other people that have come and helped out with being a supporting judge are, sometimes it's people that just want to compete in the foundations classes or something, and then they'll judge the trail. So I'm looking for that. I just can't have you be related to the people that are competing, because, oh my gosh, talk about stirring the pot. People will get upset with that. I'm not going to, I just don't want to, open up a can of worms. But also, if somebody is riding your horse, I'm not going to let you judge that either. Like, let's say that, I don't know, let's just pull a name, whatever. Oh, I don't know, let's say it's one of my horses, right? I'm not going to, well, that's a bad example. I don't know. If you are a judge and somebody else is competing on your horse, that would probably be like a no-go, right? Because people are I don't want to open the door for people to be able to say stuff. So I like to keep those doors shut and just everything nice and clean and tidy. So I am looking for more supporting judges. So if you know anybody that just wants to come and help us out for the day, I usually feed them. I help their businesses out. I think I'm going to start giving them some gas money, just because the world's rough, right? So how to become a judge: you'll need to fill out the judge's application, return it to CT2V. This is very formal. It doesn't have to be that formal. You just need to come talk to me, and then I just see what you've done in the equine industry, and I explain our stuff and make sure that you're not related to anybody. The judge will need to understand the rules of CT2V. CT2V co-president Brandy Von Holten, or a board member that is also a CT2V judge, will conduct a verbal interview. CT2V would like for each judge to have at least one other judge's certification, but that's not mandatory. We actually train a lot of first-time judges. If you are new to judging, it is highly recommended that you scribe or shadow a CT2V judge before becoming a certified judge. Actually, for that right there, man, we go through, I love whenever they come to my Rulebook clinics, because I've got one in February, or we usually sit down and go through how to do the scoring. It's just really nice if they have scribed before. Scribing is just writing down what the judge says. And you know what? Boy, the competitors that want to basically learn a ton of stuff, scribe in between. We have one of our competitors' name is Ashley, and Ashley scribes for some of the judges in like ranch horsemanship. And I've heard her talk about how much she learned, from that, and what the judges really want. So now my competitors that are like really wanting to grow and to, it's basically like a free clinic getting to scribe. I mean, it's a pain in the butt because you're working, right? But then you get to see what that judge is looking for and taking off for. That is so valuable. If you're competing, and we are doing a buckle series this year, and a lot of people in the horse industry, winning a buckle is a huge thing. I know some of the people that have won buckles from us before in the past, and they're probably going to be buried with them, because it's just a belt buckle is a big thing in the Western world. So, in these competitions, there's less than a point between people out of 300 percentage points, 300 points basically, and we've had people win and lose buckles from less than 1 point. I would highly recommend scribing to know, you know, like, for example, I've had to judge before, and I had so many people doing like the most simple obstacle, which is like a cowboy curtain, but a lot of them were turning before they got completely through the curtain, and I wanted them to complete the curtain and then turn. You know, it's kind of like the departure part of the obstacle. And the person that was scribing for me was like, I would have done the same thing that they're doing. You know, and it made a big difference between the people that went straight through that for me. You know, it made a difference in the scoring because everything was so close. And that person that scribed for me was like, I'm so glad that I scribed to just learn about the departure of the obstacle. So if you get the opportunity, please scribe. Yeah. Okay. So there we go. Somebody just said they'd be interested in learning to scribe. Yeah, it's extremely helpful. Only thing, if you scribe, you cannot freaking chit chat with the judge because they're trying to freaking work and get a number, and then you're trying to talk to them. You have to be a silent little bird because, man, especially when they're doing stuff and things get really fast, like boom, 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 boom. They've got to know a number. You got to zip them lips because that's the only complaint that my judges have ever had about any scribe in the past is like, oh my God, they freaking chit-chatted and I was trying to focus, you know? So you can't be doing that because, you know, there's a lot of money, time, and energy put into preparing for these competitions. So right here it says, being a judge is an honor, not a right. CT2V reserves the right to revoke a judge's certification if deemed necessary to ensure a fair and high quality association. So there we go. We just have, that's one of those things you got to put in there, you know, like every bleach container in the world says don't drink bleach. Got to put it on there for the one person, right? Okay, opportunity classes. So an opportunity class is open to allow the host to add creativity to their event. The board will gladly help a host establish criteria for an additional class. Opportunity classes will not go towards the versatility placing. Okay, so right now we have in-hand classes. This paragraph right here that was talking about other opportunity classes, that would be like, do you know that if somebody become a host, right, and they did not have the ability to do trail, well, like somebody that had an indoor arena could host CT2V, but they could, if they did ranch horsemanship and obstacles, they could make their third thing be an in-hand division. So they could do everything in an enclosed arena, and then they might have 25 students that are hunter jumpers, right? They could do an opportunity class of having, you know, jumping as like an opportunity class. So we put that in there. We have in-hand classes as our opportunity classes, but other hosts might choose to make in-hand as one of their mandatories or something. So anyways, what we have right now, Foundations 1 and 2, I love our in-hand classes. And they're some of our biggest classes, okay? So Foundations 1, it says an in-hand class for equine that are not being shown in any other class other than Buckaroo, because Buckaroo is lead line. We're just trying to get kids interested in horses. So we try to be as wiggly as we can of who can compete in Buckaroo. Which horses can be used, horses and mules. This class is designed to use the obstacles from the obstacle class, but be modified for an in-hand competitor. So it's just the obstacles, but we try, you know, if I have you do a send around and then mount, well, we won't have you mount because it's an in-hand class, so we try to change it. I will tell you that this year, for 2020, for 2024, what we're trying to do is typically on Sunday, we had 4 things that went on. We have the obstacle class, we have Foundations 1, Foundations 2, we have Buckaroo. So we have these things that go on Sunday, okay? Well, everybody's trying to get the heck out of here because y'all got to go back to work on Monday. You got to get home. You don't want to drive in the dark. So I get it. Everybody's trying to get out of here. So what I'm going to do is at Nationals this year, we, I think it was Nationals or 2023. We moved our in-hand division, didn't have it on that last day. That was golden, okay? So I know that in April, I'm going to try to most definitely have Foundations 1, and I'm going to see if I can run Buckaroo. I've just got to see who's interested in it and find out to make sure they're not going to come on Sunday, like if they're already there. But I am thinking about running Foundations 1 and Buckaroo during the ranch horsemanship section, because then we could get those runs done. What it means for me is that I will have to design another course because I won't have, if I have some in-hands on Saturday, it will not be the same course that the in-hands or the other competitors are doing on Sunday, because they'll get to know the course. Like that's the beauty of CT2V, is that on Sunday everybody has the same preparedness, you know, of doing the obstacles, because we might have a competitor that just comes in Sunday to do obstacles only, and it would be unfair to them if people got to see the obstacle course on Saturday. So, and I know y'all don't care about me having to do more work of designing the courses. By the way, every course that's designed is designed by myself. Every now and then I'll have somebody will give me a great idea. I love obstacle ideas, especially with what we have. And we are adding a whole bunch of working equitation obstacles this year, just because my husband's wanted to design them for his business called Building with David, where he's actually building the obstacles and selling them. So I know I bet y'all are happy that you're paying attention to this live right now. So anyways, going to try to make our day faster on Sunday, because if I can knock out Buckaroo and Foundations 1, then on Sunday, it would leave Foundations 2 and obstacles. I'm actually going to see how the day goes with running Foundations 2 on Saturday as well. The only thing is, it just gets time crunchy with doing cowboy roulette, doing ranch horsemanship, and doing trail. And I've got to make sure, there's setup, and I want to make sure that everybody's able to do everything. But if I'm able to, especially when we start having more daylight, like in May, June, July, I might go ahead and see what time we get done with trail and run Foundations 2 after that, because that would make Sunday just so wonderful to just do obstacles and already have all those foundation scores done. So anyways, Foundations 1 though is for a horse that hadn't been rode in anything else. That horse could be 25 years old. That horse could have been an old showmanship horse. That horse could be a pony. That horse could be a weanling. It could be whatever it needs to be, as long as it's not rode on the obstacles. And that horse can be under saddle. There is so much leeway for what Foundations 1 can look like. So, hey, I just want to give a shout out. I see all sorts of people that are watching this, and this is wonderful. The UHCA just popped on, and I used to compete in the UHCA, and what I'm doing is I'm going through our rule book in depth and just explaining things, and people have really, this has been beneficial. I would do this for the UHCA if y'all have this opportunity. So the next thing is Foundations 2, and it says an in-hand class for equine that are being shown in another class other than Buckaroo. This class is designed to use the obstacles from the obstacle class but be modified for an in-hand competitor. So Foundations 2 gets really large because that is our versatility competitors typically, and they're already here, and I think it costs like $15 to enter Foundations 1, and a lot of people love groundwork. So our Foundations 2, everybody that's already going to compete in obstacles, and then it's after the obstacles are over with, we do our Foundations 2. So that horse is going to have to be under saddle. All right. Here we go. You know what? And by the way, if you wanted to not ride and do the obstacles, but you wanted to compete in Foundations 2, you know, like maybe your horse is, maybe you've done a whole bunch of showing before and you thought it would be, you personally thought it would be unfair to compete in the Foundations 1, you're more than welcome, because that would be like a handicap you put on your own self. But a lot of people know that their groundwork is freaking solid, and they wouldn't want to compete in Foundations 1. They would want to compete in it's typically the more difficult in-hand division because the horses are typically more seasoned. You're most definitely welcome to challenge yourself, and I've had people do that. All right, different abilities. All right, so this is our special needs, but I didn't want to call it special needs, so I call it different abilities. And I have had one adult that has taken us up on this, okay? And actually that one adult is not going to do CT2V next year because they're going to do the Special Olympics and they wanted to do bowling. So I'm really excited about that. I can't wait to find out about how they do. So here we go, different abilities. We have an assisted and an unassisted, because people that have different abilities have different ranges. Like some of them need a whole bunch of help, and then some of them can ride and function. So we wanted to have two different divisions, okay? So both of them, by the way, coaching is allowed. You can do all the coaching in the world that you want to do in the different abilities classes. So, hey, as a competitor, you know, some people have, boy, I want to make sure I use my words correctly right now. Some people, you can physically tell that they are, have different abilities. And some people, you cannot tell, right, until maybe spoken word, or maybe they have a processing problem, whatever. If you ever see an adult that's being coached, you better not start yelling and being like, they're coaching, because you might be an a-hole, and that might be somebody that's in the different abilities division that's allowed to have coaching. So you might want to make sure and bring that to me before you just start trying to help us corral the rules and everything like that, because that might make you get into a very uncomfortable, situation. So make sure and tell us if somebody is coaching, okay? So anyways, hopefully I said that and didn't make anybody upset. Different abilities, the assisted one, any age special needs competitor that can compete with assistance in 2 classes for versatility. So ranch horsemanship and obstacles. The ranch horsemanship will always be modified ranch horsemanship 1. That is the one that there's not cantering in, and it just follows the rail. So even if we're doing ranch horsemanship 3, ranch horsemanship 4, no matter the pattern, if we know that we have a different abilities person here, then we will set up modified ranch horsemanship 1 for them. Okay? Now then, that's the assisted, and they'll do obstacles and they'll do ranch horsemanship. Now then, the unassisted, so this is a special needs person that can ride on their own. Any age special needs competitor that can compete without assistance in 2 classes for a versatility placement. So they have ranch horsemanship and they have obstacles. And once again, the ranch horsemanship would be set up for the modified ranch horsemanship 1. So there is that. And I chose to not put the trail in there for the assisted or unassisted. It's because, man, these are special needs classes, and I don't need somebody that's super far away and something happened, okay? So I needed it to be in a controlled area for the safety. Okay, so that's page 18 and page 19. Next week, we're going to get into our competitive classes, which includes trail and obstacles. We'll go over all the... Next week's going to be a week you do not want to miss because it's the nitty-gritty of what's allowed in these trail classes and these obstacle classes. Like literally next week's probably going to be the best week to listen to because it's going to be what you really want to hear come from my mouth. That's going to be page 20 and 21. And that right there is it. I can't wait till we get to the patterns because I'll probably try to do this conversation like on the computer so I can actually really explain to you like what I'm looking for. Well, as much as I can with a computer and me pointing at stuff and just talking about it. So, and if you're interested in getting your own physical copy, you can go to CT2V.com and there's a way to get a copy, or it's free to everybody if you just want to get there's a downloadable PDF if you don't want it to be in book format. So there you go. Y'all have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you. Our in-hand classes are huge, so I hope you look into those. You'll love them, but you're gonna have to be willing to let me figure out how to make Sunday go faster, and that's kind of probably gonna be on the it'll be moving and grooving. It'll be fixed in motion until we get it set, because this is our 8th year doing CT2V, and we've never tried to do what we're going to try to do this year. So it'll take me a month or two to get all of everything ironed out. All right, y'all have a wonderful night.